Hello. Not a lot of people out there know who I am. Probably don't even care who I am. But let me just say this to you. I have done a lot of different things in my life. I was actually one of the youngest Shell gas station owners there was. When I was 19, I bought a Shell gas station. So I've been in business for myself since I was 19 years old. And I tell you, what I'm seeing now is just incredible. I actually listened to Cortez, Congresswoman Cortez, talk about taxing industries, taxing companies at 90%. 90% of earnings. They're going to take 90. I mean, just let that sink in for a minute. So what she's talking about doing is taxing the money that companies use to invest back in the company. You know, where they hire people and buy equipment and everything to help people do their job better, safer. That's ridiculous. And anybody that would fall in line with that, and I hear people applauding her. Yay! Go team. It's ridiculous. You can't tax the investment pool of America and take 90% of that and put it in the hand of the government, because the government doesn't know what they're doing. Let's take a look at Solyndra and a whole bunch of other things we can line up behind that. The Obamacare system that failed, all these things where the government was going to invest. I hate air quotes, by the way. It's ridiculous. So who's going to vote for this person? And if you've been watching YouTube and you've seen even some of the news, if you watch some of this stuff, you'll know how Cortez actually got in there. She auditioned for the part. But then you have Warren comes right behind that and says that we're going to tax assets. Yeah, now you've bought something, you paid taxes on when you buy it, and now just because you own it, you're going to pay taxes on it again. Not taxes based on if you sold it or you use it for business. And nope, just because you own it, she wants to charge you a tax. So the reality is, all the talk that you hear coming from the Democrat side of the aisle is talking about more taxes. It's what they're not really telling you is that there's only so much money that you can take from people before the economy begins to collapse. They have all these free programs they want to give away. That's wrong. It's just wrong. I mean, let's think about this for a minute. If you're a rich person, and I would be willing to bet that most people out there, the average American, probably doesn't understand what rich people do with their money. And I get that. Because the average American out there has very little money in the bank. They don't ever feel rich. They don't ever feel wealthy. And I get that. But the reality is that rich people don't just leave their money in the bank. Rich people take their money that they make and they invest it. And they get to be more rich people by investing their money. That's what they do. So when you hear a Democrat spewing free this and free that, there's nothing really free. We're already spending money. The federal government already spends far more money than it takes in through taxes. And the reason it does that is not because there's not enough pool of taxes to take enough money to cover it. It's because they give a lot of it back. So during the year, they collect the taxes, and like over half the people out there that send taxes in get their money back. So in a lot of cases, they actually get more back than they actually paid in, which means that some of the taxes that are collected, that are actually paying into taxes, some of that money is actually going back to, which gives you more of an effective rate. Probably closer to 60% of the money collected goes back. So of all the tax money we collect, about 60% of it goes back. So if you wrap your head around that for a minute. So the federal government decides they're going to spend money on whatever, helicopters or cars or building a new building to put some organization in or whatever they're going to do, pens, pencils, all the stuff that they spend all this money on. All these programs for people that have, ADHD, and it comes out of Social Security to pay those people. All this stuff that they spend all these $1 trillion on, which most people don't even know how much $1 trillion is. But let's just say this. So all this money they figured out, then they say, okay, well, we have to offset that. We have to know we're going to actually take the money in. So somebody says, well, we're going to take the money in. but then as we take the money in, then we're going to turn around and we're going to give a lot of that money back. And then somebody comes along in the Democrat Party and says, well, all we have to do is raise the amount of money we have coming in, and we can do that. Now, they know that if they come out and say, the middle class, the working stiff, the average Joe out there, your taxes are going to go up, that's going to go over about like a fart in church. That's right, I said that because I'm from the South. But that's how they think. Now, the reality is, what they're not telling you is that rich people will always be rich. You can tax them till the cows come home. And what rich people do is, remember, you're taxing them on income. So what rich people do is say, look, I've got plenty of money. I don't really have to have an income stream. I'll just take my money and I'll live on my island or do whatever I'm going to do, live in my castle that I built and drive my Ferraris around, and I'll have no problems. Because there's some really, really rich people out there that could live on their money forever. It doesn't matter what you do, right? I mean, you got to understand that these people that are rich like this, they don't live the life that you live. They don't worry about things like you worry about. And you thinking that, oh, the Democrats, this AOC is going to go out there and she's going to buy company, she's going to take that money. She's going to take their money from them. All she's going to do is cause them to not spend their money. And when they don't spend their money, the economy goes down. And then she's going to take their money saying, oh, I'll just take 80% of their money that they make. I'll just take 80% of their money that they make. Well, guess what happens? They stop investing money. And as soon as they stop investing money, you don't have a job. They don't worry about having a job. They don't need a job. But that's what they do. So the next time you hear a Democrat spewing all this, I'm going to 80% this person, 90% this person, it's only a matter of time before that 80 and 90% stops. And then you're paying the 80 or 90%. Your taxes go up. Because once they start the program, they never stop those programs. Have you ever noticed this? The government doesn't start a program and then stop the program. They start a program and then they feed that thing money. Doesn't matter. So the cost of buying votes is what they're really talking about, because they know that they can promise people all this free stuff, and because people believe stuff is really free, which is wrong, as we all know. There's a lot of people know. Some people don't know. They vote for them. Oh, this person, well, they're going to give me a free education. Why? They're going to give me free health care. Why? You know what? Now I get to go to college for 4 years on the dole of the government. I don't have to worry about it. It doesn't work that way. There's no such thing as free. Because as soon as they start taxing those people that they try to separate. You ever notice that? They always try to separate the people. They try to divide people. If they're dividing white people and black people and Muslims and Christians and Jews, and they try to divide people, they're very divisive. They try to tell you they're inclusive, but they're really divisive. They want to divide people. They want to divide Republicans and Democrats and everybody. They want to divide them because it's a given law when you're in a war with somebody, and divide and conquer, and that's what they're trying to do. So they divide people up, and they make you think that somehow that these rich people, they live this life that's a fantasy land, and it's all on your back. It's not true. It's not all on your back. It's because they invested. Now, I've written this, I've tweeted this a million times probably. But you know, there's a famous parable out there. Everybody probably knows it. As soon as I say it, people are going to say, oh, I know that. Well, that parable says, if you give a man a fish, he'll eat today. If you teach him how to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. Now, let me tell you why that's so important. Because what they're doing is they're giving you more, and they're giving you more fish. They're giving you so many fish now. They're putting out fish so much now that they're actually giving you fish that they don't have. They're promising fish that they haven't even caught yet. Which means somebody has to go out there and catch those fish. Now, if they're giving you fish that they haven't caught yet, that means eventually, and keep this in mind, this is why that parable is so true in just about everything we do. And really, very little to do with actually eat dinner. If they keep giving you fish that they haven't caught yet, they're just hoping to catch the fish so that they'll do it. Eventually, somebody's going to say, you know those fish we promised? Yeah, well, Frank didn't catch as many fish as he thought, so we don't have those fish, actually, and then you're the one holding the bag. Because all those rich people, that's the fish. All those rich people out there that we're going to go take that fish from, the people that actually caught the fish, and they're going to take the fish from them, pretty soon those people say, well, I'm not going to go fish anymore. Why should I go fish? I go fishing like I was taught to do. That's how I have so many fish, and they just keep taking my fish. So I'm not going to fish anymore. I'm just going to eat the fish I already have. That's why that parable is so important. Got to stop just taking the fish. And that's how they control you, right? I mean, the parable is so important because it teaches us how to not become enslaved by somebody. And that's really what we're doing. We're becoming enslaved by those other people. Whoever's giving the fish. Because they give you the fish, they give you the fish, they give you the fish, they give you the fish. And eventually what happens is they say, you know, by the way, I did give you all that fish and I'm kind of running for office again. I'm kind of expecting you to vote for me. I know I'm talking about socialism. Don't worry about that. I'll handle that. And really, the people that are giving you fish and you're voting them in, those people, keep in mind what that is. By the way, that noise you heard? It's a cat knocking over their dish. You feed the cat, and guess what? A cat, no, they don't really do that, do they? Cats just kind of still take the fish. So, in closing, because we're running a little bit long here, and I want to make sure that people watch this, because it's very important to understand. If you begin to tax the investment pool that runs America, and I'm an investor, I'm one of those people that invest in things, business, real estate. I do a lot in real estate. And if you're one of those people that invest, that are taking from that investment pool, if you're the government, you're going to tax that investment pool to go give it to somebody else so they'll vote for you. They already know it's going to run out. They already know that. But what they're knowing is that when it runs out, they've got a chair. They've got a $174,000 a year chair. And if they're voted in office twice, they'll have that chair for the rest of their life. They get all the government benefits. AOC takes a plane back and forth. She tells, oh, we got to get rid of the planes and the farting cows. She takes a plane back and forth. She could ride a train. She could drive a small electric car. She lives in New York, goes to Washington. It's not that far. Electric car can make it there. She doesn't have an electric car. It's not what she does. She gets on an airplane, takes off from the airport, LaGuardia or whatever in New York, and flies to Washington, lands at the Ronald Reagan Airport there in Washington, has a car pick her up. They pick her up, they take her to the Capitol building or wherever she's going, or I think she has an apartment there or something, and that's what she does, back and forth. But remember, she's telling us that we're going to do away with planes, the Great Green New Deal, we're going to do away with planes, with farting cows, all these things we're going to do away with, but yet they don't live that same thing. And most of those people that are telling you about this taxing, most of those people have accountants, and those accountants keep their money hidden, so they're not going to pay the taxes that they want these rich people to pay, because what they really know is the rich people have deductions and loopholes and all this stuff, so they're just telling you all this crap. It's never going to really happen. But if it did happen, that's what you should be concerned about. That's what you should be concerned about. Because that means if they know it's not going to happen, because they know if it did happen, it would, the economy would cease to exist. They're just lying to you to get your vote. They're lying to you to get the vote. And do you really want somebody to just promise you all this stuff? No, you don't want to do that. Anyway, that's just me. It's just my opinion. For what it's for. By the way, you see all the badges on the wall and stuff behind there? That's my dad's. He was a policeman. For 28 years he was a policeman. Worked hard every day. Saved his money every day. Taught me to save my money every day. Then I invested my money and I did things with it. I created jobs with the money I saved. And that's what I've done all my life. Remember, since I was 19 years old, I owned my business and I've created jobs my entire life. Just my opinion. If you want to be a 300 bowler, you got to talk to a 300 bowler. There's no congressmen that are 300 bowlers.